What's going on YouTube? It's Rochelle Tannen. It's December 28th, 2022. It's 9:07 p.m. here in Philly on the East Coast. I wanted to jump on and do a quick video. I did a video about this about a year or so ago, so this is a little follow-up because I'm negative, I'm hating, so you know me, and what? Working toward more positivity toward 2023. But here we go. Jaguar fucking Wright. Jaguar Wright. She just did another interview. As I was doing some work on my last video I'm about to upload, I came across it and I did not watch the whole thing. I watched snippets of it, and let me start by saying, I said in my first video about this woman, and I was going to say it again, please shut the fuck up. Jaguar Wright is the most annoying, one of the most annoying people on the internet, dying for a second chance at fame, and she just comes off as just such a hater. I picked up one point in that interview she said, and I have to address this because I kind of take it personally. She was talking about R. Kelly, and she said, if you, and I'm paraphrasing, if you support or I guess like his music, you support rapists. I love R. Kelly's music. I love R. Kelly's music. And I don't support rapists, but I love R. Kelly's music. That's like me saying of her, if you're a baby mama, single mother, I know all I need to know about you. This woman is so bitter and so nasty. Now I know I use 4-letter words, but this lady, every other word's an F-bomb, a B-bomb. These chicks did this, and they da-da-da. I'm 42. Jaguar Wright allegedly is 45 years old. You guys have to remember, especially the younger audience, I was coming of age when she was coming of age. I remember all the people that were hot at the end of the 90s into the 2000s. And when you get to talk about Philadelphia neo soul, you have music and the Roots particularly. Then you talk about Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. You have all these phenomenal super talents coming out of Philly. Not just Philly, across the country. Common. You know, just a wonderful time in music. Jaguar Wright has dogged all these artists, and some of the artists tried to help get her on. Now last year or the year before, she was saying how great Jay-Z was and all that, because she did work on Jay-Z's Unplugged album, which I love, even though she oversang on Heart in the City, which wasn't a big deal because Jay-Z could have got anyone to sing that and it would have been a success, not because of her. She has the nerve to have on some black power earrings in this interview. And only thing she does is dog black artists. Other black artists. Some black artists that try to put her on. She dogged Black Thought, Questlove, and those boys, the Roots, who I love as a live band. And I like a couple of their rap songs, but their rap was never really grabbed me. But I love to hear them play live. That was one of the best bands of our time. If you're from the 80s or 90s, the Roots are a sick band, and some will argue with me and they be right. They're sick lyricists. These people help put her on, and she still dogs them. I have an issue with that. And then when she's talking these conspiracies, now she says something that I can agree with. Beyonce's first track, Work It Out, was whack. It was on the Austin Powers soundtrack. I said Beyonce's new album I'm not feeling, but don't get it fucked up. I have a lot of respect for Beyonce and some of her work. I'm just not the type of person, if a musician puts something out, I'm going to say it's automatically good because they're so big. Because at this point in my life, there's been legends in music all my life. So if I say I don't like Beyonce's current album, that does not mean I don't like Beyonce at all. And yes, in my opinion, Aaliyah was better than Beyonce. But Aaliyah is gone. She's dead and gone. Now, Jaguar Wright touched on the conspiracy about Aaliyah and Jay-Z and Dame Dash and all these people. And it's one thing for us fans to talk about conspiracies and things. But some of those same people you're dogging, including Jay-Z, try to put you on. Real fans know what it is. We don't know what it was behind the scenes. We know that something fishy went on with Aaliyah and other stars I can name. However, an ex-backup singer wanting to be Jill Scott doesn't have the right to dog these people and wear Black Power earrings while doing it. Then she's talking about Clive Davis, the incomparable Clive Davis. Clive Davis is what some of the, not just this generation, some of the biggest talents multi-generationally. She made a statement saying Alicia Keys, I guess they were dating some guy back in the day, I'm sure Alicia Keys don't care two shits about, and how Clive Davis made her respond to Jaguar and all this other stuff. Why in the world would Alicia, gangster loving, Empire State of Mind, Swiss Beats on her arm, Cosby Kid Keys give two shakes of a lamb tail about a bitch who had 2 albums that didn't break in the top 20 back in the day? This woman is so bitter and so nasty, and just, I see why she couldn't get on. Talking about these female rappers, these men are writing for them, and da 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 da. So what? Did Jay-Z write the part you sang in his song? And I don't believe that. I believe some of them old female rappers wrote their own bars. A lot of them wrote their own bars, or at least helped write their own bars. So you gotta remember, rap, even right now, is still developing, because out of all the genres of music, rap is the youngest. Rap is only in its 40s. And to the 20-something, that might sound old, and rightfully so. But in the grand scheme of life, that's still young. Rap isn't as old as rock and roll or jazz. So rap is still developing. And and she loves dogging my boy Puff Daddy. But I think this line applies not just for Puff, but a lot of them female rappers she talking about. No one cares if they write rhymes. They write checks. All musicians in music aren't always going to be great writers and all this other stuff. Some people are just great performers. And you need those too. You need the look. You need the voice. You need the face of the production. There's people that I don't think can sing worth a lick, but they got the looks for it. And there's writers behind the scene that don't have the looks for it, but they have the writing talent for it. That I imagine is just the industry. When she said Alicia Keys, Clive Davis had Alicia Keys respond to her. Clive Davis has produced Aretha Franklin, who I adore. I love Aretha Franklin. Whitney Houston, that OG. Whitney Houston is so fly. I see young men on the internet now that were born way before after Whitney still falling in love with young Whitney Houston. Yeah, that's Clive's girl. Then we get to Alicia Keys. And he produced Bruce Springsteen. Clive Davis has produced big names in music. So you mean to tell me Clive Davis took time out of his day to address some 2-bit whore who has to perform in little nightclubs here in Philly that usually new artists perform at her point in her career, if she has a career? I don't think much of black people like her, black artists like her. Now I understand a lot of the artists I watched over time, they're not the same artists they were back in the 90s, early 2000s. But who is she to dog these people as hard as they worked when a lot, again, of these people help try to put her on? Are you mad that you're not Jill Scott? She made a statement about Jill Scott and Erykah Badu being jealous of her and all this other stuff. Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. Jill Scott was such a great writer. This is how good of a writer Jill Scott was. The part in The Roots, You Got Me, where Erykah Badu was singing, the reason they didn't put, the record company didn't put Jill Scott on the track is because at the time Jill Scott was unknown. So Jill Scott wrote that hook, but Erykah Badu sang it because Erykah Badu had just blew up. Jaguar Wright is full of shit. And she's a hater. That, you know, I don't like calling people bitter, because I've said in the past, I've been called bitter. There's a difference between speaking the truth and being bitter. Jaguar Wright is the example, the epitome of bitter. She's talked about Mary J. Blige, in which if you felt that way about Mary J. the Queen, Mary J. Blige is on Jay-Z's same Unplugged album. Why didn't you hear that out back in the day? But that's right, Mary J. Blige is playing Dana Washington, and Respect, and no one's thinking about Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright, for you young people, she just wants to stir the pot because she's one of those singers back in the day that could not get on to save her life. She talking about Beyonce's solo career wasn't going anywhere. Her whole career didn't go anywhere. If anyone can name a fucking Jaguar Wright song, I'll eat my desk. No, and not anybody's cover either, because she did a couple covers of like Cheryl's Saturday Love and all that. Those aren't her songs. That's Alexander O'Neal and Cheryl's song from the 80s. An original song that she's known for. Just fucking one. And I'll eat my desk. Now, I understand that she's trying to keep her name out there and all that other stuff, but she's really offensive. And she's really a bad look. And I'm not even going to say a bad look for Philly because I don't even think that broad's from Philly. I think, in my first video, I think she's from like Upper Darby or somewhere out there, which is a county next to Philly. Then if you Google her, they say she's born in New Jersey. But she was not born in Philly. She was not born in Philly. You can tell she tries too hard to show that she's from Philly. Now, Philadelphians are a lot of things. They can be rude, they can be crude, they can be underhanded, they can be big-headed and all that stuff, but they're the city of brotherly love. They also can be creative, fun, welcoming, and she's dogging these people from Philadelphia and other cities, and again, some of these people try to put her on. Now, again, I'm not going to watch the whole thing because she's just going down the line of dead people that aren't here to defend themselves, like Aaliyah. And then again, it's not one thing for us fans to talk about conspiracies from the outside looking in, but you're actually in the industry with people that gave you just as many chances, if not more, to get you on, and you still couldn't get on. You still, and it seems like every time I look at her, you see that resentment and that bitterness in her. She's not keeping it real. She's not doing none of that, young people. She's trying to get her name back out there. She's trying to have someone talk about her. Like, the first time she did that shit, a couple people responded to her. And let me just tell you, I don't care if Tevin Campbell's gay. Tevin Campbell's one of the best voices of the 90s. Tevin Campbell on that Mariah Carey shit. Tevin Campbell's Can We Talk is so dope. The young people in Philadelphia is singing it across this country. That's how great that song's written and great how song is sung. Who cares if he's gay? What difference does that make? Especially in 2022. Who cares if Tevin Campbell's gay? Tevin Campbell had something that Jaguar Wright never had. A #1 hit. A #1 album. Sold out tours, and he didn't need a whole bunch of people to put him on. He was such a powerhouse. Quincy Jones, the man. Quincy Jones, the legend. 80-something years old with his 22-year-old wife. Shout out to Q. Tevin Campbell got snatched up by Quincy. Then Prince, the legend, the purple one, put him on. This mother effer Jaguar done worked with the Roots, couldn't get her on, and she dogged them. Music Soul Child and them. All these people were from the same hood. Jill Scott, or her, supposedly. I know the other people I name are really from Philly. They tried to put you on, but you're not talented. And then she tries to allude to the fact that Common forced himself on her when she was younger. You're not that great looking. And if Common did this, why didn't you bring charges? This is much nonsense. She's sitting here cold dogging R. Kelly and all these people. Why didn't she do this at the height of their fame? And Jay-Z, so it's one thing for Dame Dash to say Jay-Z ain't shit. Dame Dash helped build Jay-Z, whether Jay-Z acknowledges it or not. That's one thing. But who the fuck are you to dog Jay-Z when the only thing you're known from is the work from Jay-Z's album and some backup singing you did for the Roots? I don't know no celebrity like the celebrities I like anyway. I hope they take the Jill Scott approach. Because like Jill Scott said, when you're a lion, you don't turn around for a little barking dog. And that's all she is a little barking dog. Shout out to Jill Scott. Because Jill Scott's a real Philly nigga. I'm in her hood. I'm in North Philly. She grew up, from my understanding, not too far from here. 22nd, and I'm there 22nd in Allegheny. She grew up not too far from here. I've met people around this way that have pictures of Jill Scott. Jill Scott's a real nigga. She's a trill nigga, and I like her. I don't like everything about her. I don't like everything about any of these celebrities. But I certainly appreciate their work. Here's some food for thought. Then I'm going to get up out of here. Jaguar, you dog my girl Jill Scott or Alicia Keys let's just say Jill Scott and Alicia Keys. I know one thing. Back in the day, Songs in A Minor, Alicia Keys' first album, sold out. Jill Scott's first album, Who Is Jill Scott, was so highly anticipated. It took me like 6 months to get Jill Scott's first CD. Because it was sold out. And back in the day, you could order CDs from Columbia and all these other places. You could go buy them in the stores. You could not get her CD. Because that's how great it was. Jaguar, please have a large, tall cup of shut the fuck up. Stop hating on everybody. And why don't you go work on your music or craft? And that way, you can get some notoriety. If you're not too old anyway. Because Neo Soul, that time has since passed. Those songs are being sampled now by the younger people. And again, I don't care if some of my female rappers write their songs or not. As long as they write checks and deliver it and make it hot. Something you'll never be, Jaguar. On that note, I'm certainly hating on Jaguar. Please shut the fuck up. I'm out of here, guys.